Erev Tov, Rabotai. Let's continue talking about the holiday. We still got more things to discuss. So I want to tell you, right, the first thing we do when we start the Haggadah is the Karpas. We wash our hands, right? So got to tell you a couple things about that. When we wash our hands for the Karpas, we do without a bracha. Right? No bracha, no netilat yadayim. Just we wash the hands. What's the reason why we don't make a bracha? Because it's a machloket, if we have to bless on that or not. Some say yes, some say no, so we don't bless. Right? Safek brachot le'akil. When in doubt, throw it out. Right? Don't bless if you have a doubt about it. That's the way it is. We don't bless on karpas. But what we do is, first of all, right, what is karpas? Which vegetable is this, right? So the real meaning of the karpas is celery. This is the real karpas. Anything else that they use, some people have custom to use parsley, things like this. Other countries, in Ashkenazim, some of them they use potatoes and God knows what, whatever, all kinds of things. But that's not the real karpas. Probably the reason why they use potatoes and these kinds of things is because they didn't have the real karpas. The real karpas is celery. You understand? So therefore, don't bother, using the other stuff. That's not the real thing. You only use something else if you don't have the real one. If you have the real one, be genuine. Right? Why do second class stuff? That's not the way to do it, right? So you buy karpas, better to use the stalks though, not the leaves. Why? Because the leaves sometimes they have to be checked, bugs, this, worms, God knows what. So throw the leaves away, and use the stalks. The stalks, they're very easy, we just wash them, look at them, that's good, right? No big deal. Nothing major over there. The stalks are the best. So that's what you use for the karpas. But the thing is, they say that you have to, when you eat the karpas, you have to eat less than a kazait. So you have to make them very small, the pieces. Kazait is, as we said, right, like 1/3 of an egg, According to Tosfot, it's 1/2, but here we should be machmir, like the Rambam and Rif. It shouldn't be even 1/3 of an egg, the size of this karpas. So cut them very, very small, little tiny pieces like this, pitsky, like this, and why do we have to eat less than a kazait? Because if you eat a kazait, then now's a question. You have to make bracha achrona, maybe, borei nefashot, right? So this is the reason why. Excuse me, I don't want enough conversations.
No.
Oh, thank you. God bless. Thank you. Okay, God bless. Okay, so all right, but you get blessing. Yes, you get blessing from Torah. That's what you get blessing from. Okay, so right, that's what you get. You have to listen to the Torah. That's the real blessing, right? Talmud Torah, can you get kulam? That's what it says. Okay, so let's move on. So as we said, right, the karpas, make them very, very small, and no bracha achrona, right? No borei nefashot, because you didn't eat a kazait. Very good. So what do? We dip the karpas into, right, salt water or vinegar, right? Something like that, right? It has to be dipped, the karpas. So we dip it, and that's why we're washing our hands, because it's dipped. This is the reason why we wash our hands. Because if otherwise, you wouldn't need to wash your hands for karpas. It's just a vegetable. You don't wash our hands for vegetables, And also they say, Chazal, when you make the borei piyadama for the karpas, have in mind also the maror, because that bracha is also going to cover the maror when you eat the maror. That borei piyadama. So for the maror, I think I told you, right? We're not talking now. Excuse me, my friend. Excuse me, I'm sorry. You told me you just came to sit down, right? Not to talk. Okay. You tricked me. Okay. Okay. So anyway, right? As we said, yeah. So as we said, right? When you make the bracha for the karpas, borei piyadama, you're also having in mind the maror. But for the maror also, we're making another bracha, which is alachilat maror. That's for the special bracha, that we make to do the mitzvah of maror. But also it needs borei piyadama. So therefore have in mind also that, this is the way we do it, right? That's the way it's done. So that's regarding the karpas, right? Also I want to tell you regarding arba kosot of wine. We spoke about this already, some things, but I want to tell you another thing, which is, that even though white wine is kosher, for arba kosot, but the better way to do it is to use red wine, right? What's the reason why red wine is better than white wine? The reason is because, the quality is usually better, the red wine. Better quality wine, So you should use the good quality stuff, right? Not use the cheap stuff. The white wine is the cheap stuff, you know how it is, right? In the old days, by the way, when we were in the old country, wherever it was, right? The white wine was the cheap stuff. You bought that for pennies. It wasn't worth nothing, that stuff. You know what I mean? And the red wine is the good stuff, so that's why you gotta use the red. The red is a good thing. Okay, so that's another thing, right? You gotta know, regarding, the wine. I want to tell you also a couple of other things which are important to know about the holiday. Number one, right, is that Yom Tov Sheni, it says in the Chazal, right, that if a person doesn't keep Yom Tov Sheni, he's mezalzel, and he goes to work or something, or that, doesn't keep Yom Tov Sheni, en lo chelek l'Rambam, he doesn't have a portion in the world to come. So Yom Tov Sheni is considered to be a very, very important thing. Why is that? Because Yom Tov Sheni is like something, we don't understand so good, like we don't know. What's the reason for this? Yom Tov Sheni, according to Torah, there's only one day. Now the rabbis added another day. I don't understand this. I don't know what's going on here. It's strange to me. So, because you don't believe the words of the Chachamim, you do, like Yom Tov Sheni, you think it's like a weekday, so they tell you, you don't believe in the Chachamim, en lo chelek l'Rambam, he doesn't have portion in the world to come. That's why, Yom Tov Sheni is very important. So you gotta keep it, just like you keep the first day of Yom Tov, second day of Yom Tov also. You gotta keep the same thing, right? So, very important to understand that. Right? What's the reason, by the way, we keep Yom Tov Sheni? What's the reason for this? Right? So in the old days, the truth is, the reason was because it was a safek. The Beddin used to make the Yom Tov, the Rosh Chodesh. They used to be Kovei Rosh Chodesh every month. So what happened was, that according to which day the Beddin would make the Rosh Chodesh, the Yom Tov would also come out according to that, because the Rosh Chodesh is the first of the month, So because of that, there was a safek sometimes in places which are far away. They didn't know which day was Rosh Chodesh, so they weren't sure also which day is Yom Tov. So this is why they kept 2 days. And then what happened was that as time went along, now we have Baruch Hashem, we have a fixed calendar. The Beit Din doesn't make anymore the Rosh Chodesh. Doesn't do that anymore. You don't have a Beit Din like that anymore. So now it's a fixed calendar. Who made this calendar, by the way? Who was the genius who made this calendar? Right, that we use today? I'm sorry? Ezra. No, not Ezra. It was somebody, his name was Hillel, but not the Hillel that Hillel Zaken, not this guy, right? It was another Hillel who was Emorah. He was a later generation, right? This Hillel, he was the one who made the calendar that we use today. So everything today is with the calendar. So there is no safek, there is no doubt anymore about Yom Tov, which day it is. So then why do we keep 2 days now?
Yeah. Why?
What do we need it for? Right? That's the question, right? Let's go to work, right? Let's go get a job, Let's go, right? So you know what the answer is, right? There's a deep answer and there's a simple answer. According to Rambam, you know what he says over there, right? Look what the Rambam says. He says the reason why we have to keep Yom Tov Sheni is because maybe we're going to lose this calendar, Why? Because of the persecution of the Goyim, They're going to come and chase us from here to there like the Romans used to do, The Romans used to chase us around. If we would be in Yerushalayim, they would chase us out, we would go to the north. They would find us in the north, Yavne, they would, we'd go to Tveria. Then we would go to Tzipori, it was like a cat and mouse game they were playing, the Romans, chasing us everywhere. So we had no yeshuv dat, we had no, right, we weren't relaxed, we weren't calm. So because of that, we were losing our masoret and our calendar, everything was getting lost. So the Rambam says this may happen again, you never know. Such a thing, the persecutions like this, so therefore he said, right, just in case that we may lose the calendar and it may go back, to the old way. So this is the reason why we have to keep Yom Tov Sheni. This is according to a simple reason why we keep Yom Tov Sheni. But there's also something deeper there, The Chazal, they say in the Talmud something interesting. They say that what happened was, that in the Chutz La'aretz and in Eretz Israel, it's different. What does that mean? The rabbis would look in Shamayim, in Chutz La'aretz, and they would look in Shamayim in Eretz Israel. And they would see two different things. What does that mean, two different things? In Eretz Israel, they would see, right, on the second day, after Yom Tov Rishon, there was no Kedusha, there was no Shekhinah in the Shamayim so much. So it was like a weekday. The rabbis.
It's only in Jerusalem.
No, in all Eretz Israel, it was like that. There was no Shekhinah, like so much, no Kedusha like that. But what they saw was that in Chutz La'aretz, outside of Eretz Israel, on the second day there was Kedusha. They saw this, So because of that, they said, this is Yom Tov also. And in Chutz La'aretz, this is also Yom Tov. So, the Mekubalim, they say that in Chutz La'aretz, because the Kedusha is on a lower level, it's not the same kedusha as Eretz Israel, right? Eretz Israel is very kadosh. So the thing is, that you need 2 days of Yom Tov to get to the same level of kedusha that over there it takes only 1 day. You have to do double to get to the same place, to the same level. So this is the reason why we keep also Yom Tov Sheni. So Yom Tov Sheni, it's a litmus test. You know what this means in English? It's like, your test, your trial, nisayon. What does that mean? If you keep Yom Tov Sheni, that means you really believe in the Torah. You believe in the Chachamim. If you don't, you don't really believe so good, You think, no, I'm smarter than the rabbis. Those rabbis, they're old timers, right? It's kenim, antiquarim, that's not the case, right? Old school, yeah, old school. I like that, old school. So that's the thing, right? So you got, if you, that's where Hashem tests you. Do you really believe in the Torah? Do you really believe in the Chachamim? So you got to keep Yom Tov Sheni. Otherwise, we see, right, that you're not so good. A person like this doesn't have portion in the world to come.
In Jerusalem, they keep 2 days or 1 day?
In all of Eretz Israel, they keep 1 day, everywhere.
What about outside Jerusalem?
Yeah, all of Eretz Israel, did you hear me? All of Eretz Israel, 1 day.
Except Rosh Hashanah. So why in Eretz Israel you doing your mind?
Outside?
In Eretz Israel you doing your mind?
Oh, Rosh Hashanah is different.
No, but Yom Kippur also is different. You're doing 1 day. Yom Kippur is also different. You're doing both of them 1 day.
Good question. Do you want me to answer you? Here we go, right? I'm going to answer you. First of all, he asked about Rosh Hashanah. Then he's asking about Yom Kippur. So what's the answer, right? It says in the Rif that we have to keep, even in Eretz Israel, Rosh Hashanah 2 days. What's the reason for that? The reason is because what happened was, that they would have to come to Beit Din Edim, to make the Rosh Chodesh. Because Rosh Hashanah is also Rosh Chodesh. You understand? It's Rosh Chodesh right, and it's also Rosh Chodesh, right? So for Tishrei, right? It's Rosh Chodesh Tishrei. Yeah. So the thing is, to make Rosh Chodesh, they didn't have to come, the witnesses, And sometimes what happens is like this, they don't come, because they didn't see the moon, nobody saw the moon, So because of that, the next day becomes the Rosh Chodesh, So because of the safek that they had over there in Eretz Israel, if the witnesses would come or not, this is the reason why they made 2 days. Because of this issue. Because they weren't sure if the Edim would come the first day, or they wouldn't come. If they don't come the first day, automatically the next day is Rosh Chodesh. Understand? So they had to keep both days. They weren't sure what was going to happen there. It's all discussion about that over there, but in the Gemara there.
To make it sure, right?
Well, I'm sure, you have to be sure about that. So what about Yom Kippur? So Gemara says, you know what it is? And if we make 2 days of Yom Kippur, you know what's going to be, right? 50% of people are going to die because of hunger, we can't keep 2 days of Yom Kippur, you understand? Because of the hunger, People, who's going to keep 2 days of Tanit? You have to be crazy, What do you want to kill everybody? Right? So therefore, they said, you know what? Yom Kippur, it's only going to be 1 day, no matter what. Because of what? The rabbis make this, it's not from the Torah. You understand? So they have the choice to be metaken or not to be metaken, to decree or not to decree. So when it comes to Rosh Hashanah, they were metaken, to keep 2 days, because of safek. Yom Kippur, they said, no, people are hungry, we cannot do that, I'm sorry. Right? No takana over there, no gezerah. This is the reason why, So, but when it comes to the other Yom Tov, in Eretz Israel, it's only 1 day, right? Except Rosh Hashanah. That's the way it is. Yeah, of course, yeah. Not only that, we'll finish here, I don't want to take you too long. Also, right, it says in the Maran Danielov Shalom, he writes that not only in Eretz Israel we keep 1 day, but even places which are close to Eretz Israel, Samuch, like very, very close to Eretz Israel, a little bit outside, we keep also 1 day over there. You know why? Because the shlichim, that came from Beit Din to tell you about Rosh Chodesh, they could go that far, So it wasn't really, there's really no difference between a little bit inside, a little bit outside, it's all the same, As long as it's not too far away. ברוך ה' לעולם, אמן ואמן. רבי חנין בן קשה אומר, עשה הקדוש ברוך הוא לעוסק בישראל, לפיכך הכיר בא להם תורה ומצוות שאינן חפץ למען צדקו יגדיר תורה וידיר.